Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Heart and Soul Connected. And I am here with Trudi Hsu, the path of oneness. And boy, oh boy, we are seeing how mystical um, things really are sort of oneness throughout the string of religions and belief systems. Don't we? Aren't we, Trudy? We really are. So I'm happy to be here. We're happy to be here with you today and to talk a little bit about shamanism, and then we will do some card readings for you if you'd like. I see Leah here, and Christine, and Laura, and Teresa. It's nice to see you, ladies. Leah, I'm not sure we can answer your shamanistic questions, but if we can, we'll try. We are sort of actually, Trudy and I both, when we were reading up on this material, we thought, wow, this is different than we thought it was. So yeah, and we like it. It's kind
Yeah,
of cool. Yeah. So for those of you who are new or are watching this for the first time, Trudy has her channel, A Path to Oneness. She's exploring the mystical side of things, and I absolutely love that. We've talked about Buddhism. We've talked about Hinduism, I believe, and we've been on 4 or 5 months now talking
yeah,
about different ones. And so, and there's Osmanthus. Hi, Osmanthus. It's nice to see you. And so this week, it was my turn. Every other month, we change turns to host, and I picked shamanism. And I really feel like it's something that can be attainable. And perhaps we are shaman already, Trudy, in some
yeah.
ways, or we're on the way to being a shaman, don't you think?
Yes, without knowing it. And I'm sure, amongst those watching or with us now,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
th-
Yeah. It's all about communicating with spirits. It's all about going into trances like you do when you channel. It's all about many, many things that we'll go ahead and talk about. Hi, Valerie. It's nice to see you, dear. How are you? Are you stuck in the snow back east? It was they had a big storm back there today, so hopefully everybody's okay. But yes, it's very interesting. And so I want to give you a little bit about it. It is probably the oldest mystical system. That's what I found out anyway. And you can find shaman all over the world. They don't have to be Native American, they can be more tribal. They can be in other countries. They can be anywhere. But what it is they can heal the sick. They can communicate with the spirit world, and they can help people to go on the other side. So we have people like that in our own community that can do that, and so very much like shaman. And there is a name for female shaman, but I just would say that we would call them shaman at this point because now they don't care about um, uh, necessarily what the sex is of the person that's doing the work. I also thought you had to be um, like like a Native American person to be able to be a shaman, and that isn't necessarily true either. So I'm going to bring up some of those things. Trudy's going to talk about what she found out as well, and hopefully we'll get a little bit of a handle on what it is. Oh, you're happy to be snowed in. Well, that's good, dear. Hi, Cynthia Smith, Teresa Levine, Eliza Bassett. It's nice to see everybody here today. Thanks for being here with Trudy and I. Yeah, and create love. It's great
uh,
to be here. Yeah. And Trudy's information for her channel is in the show notes as well. And she is right now simulcasting on her channel. So if you have not had the opportunity to meet Trudy, she's fabulous. She does all kinds of things. And she used to be a nun many years ago, and
yeah,
so she's been on her spiritual path for a very long time. Oh, hi, Soul Spa, Jody. Oh,
yeah,
thank you, dear. Hi, Nancy Ross. Nice to see you. So, some of the things the shaman can do. to become a shaman is to be educated in spiritual things, and then to become liberated, to understand that you have the possibility as a shaman to also grow within your own system and your own way of doing things. There's no pat idea that you need to follow. They have to learn how to engage and disengage, descend and ascend. In other words, go deep into their center and also lift themselves up and find information from above. Death and rebirth, which is a continuous thing in our lives, whether we die physically or not. We all have death and rebirth throughout life, depending upon, you could be doing this work like Gertrude was a nun, a Carmelite nun, and she did that, and then she didn't do it anymore, and it was like a death, so to speak. And then you got married and you had a rebirth and you went into that, and then you had a death of the marriage because your husband passed. But all of us going to school, going to work, all of these things are deaths and rebirths in our lives. Incarnation and release, marriage union, and spiritual illumination. And finally, the most important, which is submission. This is when we let go and give it to spirit, knowing that we will be able to get the answer. We can't control anything. We just have to let go and learn what the answer is for ourselves. So they said there were 3 ways to be a shaman. You could be called to be one. You might have a spontaneous vocation come right up. When you're called to do something, you just get this urge that you want to be doing the work. And so you're called into it, you examine what it is, and then you learn how to do that. It could be that was somebody in your family was a shaman. And so you got the hereditary transmission, so to speak. And the third way is you may be on a personal quest. And this is sort of like the first one, but this is more seeking what it is that you need to be doing. And in this seeking, you come to see that what you would do best at is to work as a shaman. So those are the 3 areas, which tells me there's 3 or maybe even more different ways you could be called to do this if you're interested in it. So a lot of shamans work in voluntary trance states. They go into a trance. Maybe they do communicate with spirits, or maybe they channel. And they also work in ecstatic states. Some of them dance. And I think Sufism comes up, even though that's not shamanism, but that's what Sufis do. And also altering consciousness by being able to work with spirits. Some people can work directly with them. So this was the most interesting, and it made a lot of sense to me. Jesus was a shaman. He was a shaman because he was a holy man. He could communicate, he could heal, he could raise the dead, he could do all kinds of things. So as you can see, if you even have a strong Christian faith, you need to know that your leader of the Christian movement is also, or could be considered, a shaman, and actually was called Yeshua by some of the tribal people. He said most people who are shamans are clairaudient, clairvoyant, they see when they know, or clairsentient, they feel. Drumming is also very big. And I have to tell you, when I get in a drum circle, I'm out of it. I love it. The energy is so beautiful. It's very nice. What's the best way? And then I'm going to let Trudi tell us what she learned about. What's the best way to become a shaman if you're sort of working on the qualities of a shaman? Create vibrant health in yourself, eat right, drink lots of water, take care of yourself, have a self-care plan, calibrate a higher vibration by working in meditation and working with your chakras to align yourself with the 5D calibration. Call in your soul family, ask them to help you. Calibrate a higher vibe and balance both the external and the internal world. And that's a hard thing to do because many times we're in one or the other. This here will help you to manifest your soul mission, live authentically, and live your truth, and let your creative soul run free where you're not fearful of things. Then you share your gifts with others. I know there's so many here that do exactly that. People here share their gifts all the time. And so we have a lot of shamans here, and we need to start saying, okay, that's me too. So, what did you find out, Trudy?
I really like it that Jesus is a shaman. I
Mm,
never think of it that way, but you are right.
yeah, yeah,
Which points to the fact that Christian, as long as we have all those, you know,
uh-huh,
in Jesus, we can be shaman.
uh-huh.
I until I get into this, I took it for granted. Shamanism has to do with American Indian,
Yeah.
uh, and I was really surprised to find that. Well, it's the oldest kind of spirituality in the world,
Hmm.
and I found this sentence: "Is there has always been an innate desire to experience a direct connection with God, ancestors, and other inhabitants of the spirit world."
Yeah.
And this kind of ring a bell because it's the same with mystics, the shamans.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
have the same, and it's also universal. They engage in almost similar things: the dancing, the music, the
Right.
drumming,
Yep.
and to connect with the spirit world. And then
Hmm.
the the plants. So for
Yeah.
many tribal cultures, the plants in and of themselves were sacred. Supernatural powers reside in their tissues as a divine gift to humans on earth. It changed my perception about peyote and
Hmm.
pasca. I
Yeah.
have always, my late husband was very much into all this mushroom, all these plants,
Uh-huh.
but I always put them as, kind of the thing that I'm intrigued by, but I won't go into.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
use
I
it
know what you mean. Yep.
they use it to open the door to the alter state of consciousness,
Altered
to the
state.
other spirit realm.
Right. That's what the some of the shamans, but some of the natives use peyote, or
Yes,
like you say, the magic mushrooms, and but they're and it's interesting you mentioned that, really, Gertrude, because they're bringing back these micro doses, they call it, of mushrooms. And so you're not going on this crazy trip somewhere. It's
yeah,
not for that reason, but it's to become more centered and grounded in yourself in order to understand yourself better. And so the natives, the shaman, they all knew this. They knew it without knowing it, I guess. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then of course they know plants. And so
Mhm.
one of the thing is, if our ancestors were in plant medicine, they can pass it down. And
Yes.
I had a reading where my great grandmother came through and she had
Ooh.
that, plant medicine.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe my mother had it. I never heard about my grandmother having it. But
Yeah.
apparently my great grandmother had it.
Some people are afraid of it, Gertrude, and it could be that your mother and grandmother had it, but they were nervous about it.
Especially
Yeah.
my mother.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. Awesome.
Yeah. I watched one, I forgot his name now, Terrence something, where he said that they assess the three realm, the ground.
Yep.
And he said you could do it if there's a hole, like hole by the trees, and then you go and you assess that. And then of
Yes.
course the middle and the higher. But I think I will leave the ground alone. I
Yeah.
will
Well, no, it does help you ground yourself, though, because, it's okay for us to spend time in this air energy or this spiritual energy up here. But if we spend too much time there, we're sort of like floating away, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ground, wouldn't that be like the realm. They always talk about the realm,
Uh-huh.
the spirit world, and then the realms. Like
Yes.
the ground will be the animals,
Yes.
animal spirit guides. Yeah, I like those.
Animals and trees, spirits, maybe even some of the elementals that work with the with nature. Yeah,
Yeah, I
could
don't
be.
work very much with elemental, so maybe it's time to
Maybe.
open my mind out to that.
Sure. Sure. Yep. Um, well, I really like it because even myself, before I read this, I always thought one had to be called or had to be Native American in order to be a shaman.
Yeah,
And a lot of people have held out in the past, let's say in the 1990s, they held out that they were shaman and they were white people who just liked it and were interested in it. And some of the Native American populations didn't like it because they weren't brought into it the right way, I guess, at that time. And it made sense to me. So I always thought that as a white woman, that I did not have the either ability or the right to be a shaman. But now I feel as though it's something that is really offered up to everyone if they resonate with that particular thing.
yeah.
So, yeah. But it's certainly fascinating to take a look at. Look at that baby.
Come and say hi.
Hello
It's,
there. Is that Mary?
yes.
Hi, Mary.
She thinks that she should come on and say hi.
Absolutely. She's adorable. I love her. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hi,
she
Mary Ann.
she
Yeah,
represents the animal world, the animal kingdom.
that's right. That's right. She's so sweet. She's just adorable.
But it's
Um,
strange. I try to make videos and the words won't come out, and I grab her, and instantly I feel natural.
oh, so she's your little guide is what she is. She really is adorable. She is. What I love about Gertrude's dogs is that their names are Marianne and Ginger, and if you don't recognize those names, think about Gilligan's Island. But you didn't name them that. You just
No,
met them and they had that name. Yeah. So,
the
yeah.
couple who
Uh-huh.
rescued them gave them that name.
Yes. And Rossi's right. Pets do ground you. So here you are talking about, the grounding.
You were
Yeah.
talking about being up there, and I have experienced it when I wasn't working, and now I'm not working. And very
Uh-huh.
much into spirituality. You can really be up there and believe you're up there, but having the pets for some reason it just ground me. I don't float up there and think I'm up there. I
Yeah.
get grounded.
You don't even realize what you're missing until you have a pet and you say, how did I live all those years without one? That's the way I feel about it. But,
Yeah.
not everybody likes them and they have certainly a chance to do whatever they wish. But at the same time, it's just fascinating that once you have them, they're hard to not have anymore. So Sandra Kay says her cat is familiar too, Trudy. That's great. That's awesome. So I don't want to interrupt you if you have anything else that you wanted to
No.
say. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Leah, in the beginning, I said we'll try to answer your questions. Both of us, if we are shaman, if Trudy and I are shaman, we're just beginners because we didn't know it until the other day. So we'll answer what we can. But some of those qualities really, really do resonate with me and other people here that have shows in that they talk to spirits. They can talk to people on the other side. They have, conversations with the ascended masters, whatever. So I do believe that's all part and parcel of that. So how do you find your spiritual symbol, like your fingerprints? They're unique to us. That's a very interesting question. Um, hmm. I wonder if the best way to find out what your spiritual symbol might be is to go into the Akashic records and ask. Because our souls are continuous, and all of the records of the times that we've been incarnated are embedded in the Akashic records. So they must know what our soul imprint is in that particular area. Any thoughts, Trudi? Any thoughts about that?
Well, the Ra always tells me that, you make the intention, go into meditation, make the intention, ask the question, and then and ask your spirit team to imprint it in your mind's eyes. So
There you go. There you
you
go.
put it, you empty your mind and then you look. I
Yep.
did that just now, and I saw a heart, and then I saw an arrow. I thought, gee, why the arrow?
Because you've been you've been hurt before in previous lifetimes, I would say. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, it must be. Because you have an open heart, but your open heart also means that you can be wounded easily. That's kind of what came to my mind. But
yeah, so I
that's
practice it. As you were talking, I thought I'll practice that. So
yeah.
that is
Yep.
one way.
Yep. That is one way.
Yeah.
You know what else, Leah? And this is just from my past. Whenever I doodle, when I'm not thinking about doodling, because usually when we doodle, we just do this. We're not like saying I'm going to make a whatever. I would say that that's pretty well might be pretty well connected, because that's coming from a different part of us, more of a higher self. There are certain symbols that I can look back on and say, yes, I know I doodled that, because I have this certain way that I do it. I had a friend, she only doodles stars over and over and over again. So you have to wonder too, if this is a symbol that really resonates deeply with somebody. I would suggest looking into some of those, or a dream state. You can ask if you can try in meditation, as Trudi said. You can try with the doodling, but you can also try in a dream state and say, show me the symbol that makes me the unique person or the unique soul that I am. And know that whatever it is empowering you anyway, right? You are being empowered by that symbol. Is doing things backwards a form of magic for shamanic work?
Doing things backwards.
I just want a little bit of clarity with that, Leah. Are you saying that when you go into, say, a meditation, I don't know what doing things backwards, what that relates to. Doing things differently than someone else does, or starting from the hardest thing and going to the easiest thing? Is that what you mean? I just want a little bit of clarity there, if you can give it to me. Oh, okay, here we go. I'm putting a drafting table together like it's an art base to create. Oh, okay. So you have made the decision. Are you putting it together backwards? Or the fact is that what you're doing is you're creating the space and hoping that the ability to create will come to that space. Maybe that's what you mean. Joyous Medina, clowns of the Sioux tribe did things backwards. Really? Oh, medicine clown. Okay. I've not heard of that, but that's fascinating. And I'm going to write it down because I want to hear about it. I want to look it up and see what it is. So thank you.
I like what Rosie said, Cupid's arrow as we are near Valentine. I never think
That's
of
right.
that.
Yes, tomorrow.
Positive thing on it.
Oh, they rode their horses backwards. Perhaps it's it sounds to me like balancing something. In other words, when we even like the pillow on your bed. I don't know about you, but I'll lay on my pillow and then I'll pick it up and fluff it and turn it over and lay on the other side of it for a while. I don't know if everybody does that, but that's not really doing it backwards, but it's like balancing out the two things. I would say that is fascinating that they rode horses backwards, especially considering you don't know where you're going. You're hoping the horse brings you to the right place, I guess. There's a lot of trust involved in that. Okay. So Johnny Depp did it in The Long Ranger. I have not seen that. Okay. And his character had a cow on his headpiece. Wow. Well, Leah, I'm telling you, I love learning something from you. I'm going to look that all up. We aren't the shaman experts here. Unfortunately, we're still learning, but that's really cool. And I would say that has a lot to do with balance. It's trying to find your way of working both sides, like the mirror. So the mirror, if you're looking in the mirror, what you're doing is you're seeing, for instance, here I am with Trudi, and I see that she's over here, but she's not. She's over here. And so I have to deal with her with the balance of the mirroring effect. So I'm guessing that's what it is too. It's like a mirror effect. Wow. There's a property of the shadow that leads to learning with the crow. And that's, I agree with that. I totally agree with that, because I think that not many people are afraid of their shadow. And I often wonder why, because looking at the aspects of yourself that are not so nice, not so pleasant, not so kind, we feel like, oh, everybody knows and we're not doing the job we should be doing. But really, it's the shadow that leads us into learning how we want to be better for ourselves and then be better for others. So, yeah. Wow. What do you think about all that, Trudi? Interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Shadow is an equal. It definitely is an equal. And we want to balance it. We don't want to be out of balance, because once we are, that's why if anybody tells me something, I was telling Trudi earlier this morning, if anybody says to me, you were responsible for this, or they're upset with me about something, and I ask them why, and they tell me, I sit back and I consider, okay, I'm 50%. I'm 50% of the blame here. I'm not going to claim 100% unless I'm totally a jerk, but usually it's not meant. I don't mean to do something that might upset other people. So, but I first have to accept responsibility for my part in that misunderstanding. And if we don't, then we end up like that orange fellow that wants to be the president again. He just blames everybody else. And he lives in shadow. He just lives in it. So,
yeah. There is sorrows beneath. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Denise.
Yes. Hello. Some don't know what he rules. That's how we learn. I agree. That's very true. Absolutely true. I remember when a book from John Bradshaw came out, and it said it was about healing your shadow or your wounded side. And in the book, he gives an introduction, and then just before the first chapter comes, he leaves this little piece of information there that says, once you turn the page, you're sort of committed into working with your shadow. So if don't go forward if you're not ready to do this work. And do you know how many people will not turn that page?
Really?
Yes, they won't.
Well,
Because no, they know they can't. There's something about themselves that's either not ready, there's a fear there, or there's some kind of other thing that's stopping them from wanting to know. Because it's a lot of people feel very, very comfortable in their own little world and don't want to ever change anything, because they know what their own little world entails, and they may not like it, but they have a level of comfort there because it's always that way. But the minute you have to move into something new, oh no, what if I fail? What if I fail? What if I fail? We're all worried about failure. So, yeah. Isn't that interesting?
For me, if I don't explore my shadow. You know, I
Right.
will be afraid of everything that is hidden under that
Right.
I'm not aware of, and they can come out.
Yeah.
And I
Because you
read,
keep having those lessons over and over, don't you, Gertrude? If you're not going
yeah,
to explore your shadow, you're never going to get out of that
like,
lesson. It's
yeah,
because you're not
like
learning it.
triggers.
Yeah.
If we get triggered and we don't go to the root of that trigger, we
That's
will get
right.
triggered every time
Yep.
that trigger.
Yeah. And Christine, you're right. Failing is learning. And that's how we learn the best. And who wants to fail? No, not a person in the world does. But to be afraid of it and to fear it and to block it, there's no growth there. There's no growth. Yeah. All right. So, Jody, you're finding most people don't know how to start and what to do. I totally agree. I had a situation yesterday that really scared me a lot. I had to go and get a blood test, and it wasn't at my normal place. And so I got to the place that I had to go to, and I went into the lobby and I checked in and everything. But there's nobody there in the lobby. It's just a machine you check in. So I checked in and I sat down, and there was another man that was there, and he was pleasant. You know, he helped me with something, and he was very nice. Well, the door opened, and there was a person that came through the door, and they were talking. I thought they were on the phone. You know how when you see people talking, sometimes they have the earbuds in or something. But he was talking, but he was talking like that, like no real words. And he stared at me and stared at me, and he was not well dressed, and he kept hitting his head like this. And I knew right away that he had mental cognition issues. I mean, I felt bad for him. I wasn't certainly, but he scared me. He scared me. I didn't know what he was going to do. Yeah. And I just wanted to get up and leave the room. And I had to keep saying to myself, you're protected. You're okay. You know, and I sensed that it wasn't anything he was doing on purpose. It wasn't anything he was doing on purpose. It was simply, so the man in the back said, there's only one man working there. And he said, is everything okay out front? And I said, well, there's somebody out there that has a mental health issue. I said, but he was just talking and walking around the room a little bit. And he said, well, somebody else came in and said he was shaking the candy machine like this. And before I got there, and he said, they have to come in and they have to be tested for their medications, which makes sense. Makes total sense to me. But it made me a little bit fearful for him as the only person in the back. What if he decided he didn't want to get his blood drawn, or there was some other issue out there like that? And, you know, I recognize though that I needed that to happen, that whole thing to happen, for me to understand the complexity and the issues that we have in society that are not being addressed by our mental health system. And you're so right, Jody. So thank you for bringing that up. It has failed us, although my daughter's a mental health practitioner, and she believes that the system has failed her as well because of not enough funding and not enough programs for people that could come in and get help. So, yeah. Wow. So shadow doesn't want us to be uncomfortable, fear of looking at your own failures, but they think that all they will be. They don't realize they will be reborn once they can work through their shadow. Yeah, that's true. It's very true. Wow. Oh, really, Sarah Kay? This guy was probably in his 30s, maybe early 40s, and was all by himself. I would hope that if somebody was coming with him, or somebody should have come with him to the location. Probably would have. I think he was stressed out. He was anxious as well. So, yes, very beautifully put, Rossi. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yep. So, all right, we were about halfway through the show here, and we are here to take any kind of reading questions for you. If you would like to put them up, Trudi and I will be happy to answer them as best we can. And next month, I think Trudy's already got an idea for what she wants to do when we come back on her channel. So we're going to have a lot of fun checking that out as well. I understand, Leah, we never know when we are entertaining angels. Actually, I went to see Carolyn Mace a few years ago, and she saw a woman in a mall, and she ran into this woman, and the woman was very different looking, and she had a conversation with her, and they both left each other and went this way, and Carolyn Mace turned around to look at her, and she wasn't there. And she said she believed it was an angel unaware. Yeah, she did. So I think you're right. Absolutely. Okay. Hi, Patricia Frenzino. Nice to see you. Yes, Leah. Yeah. Go ahead and we'll let's pull some. Do you have animal cards at all, Trudy? The only other thing I could think of is that if you don't, which is fine, you might pull a card that has an animal on it. That but you could pull another card if you don't, because
well, I have this animal tarot.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Hi, BMAP. It's nice to see you. Yes. And Teresa Levine and all those on Trudy's channel. Thank you for being here. We spread our energy when we pass others. Need to call back up home. Leah, are you a shaman? I think so. Hi, Jessica Lynn. Nice to see you.
It's interesting when I read that question. Can you see my animal guide? I saw fox.
Did you? Did you? Okay. Well, that's probably true. Yeah. Then it's probably true.
Yeah.
Oh, I have the best one for you. I have otter, the otter. And you know what's really cool about the otter is they're playful, friendly, proactively seeking achievement and being positive. Some of the other things, though, they do have insatiable appetite. So you want to make sure that you balance. And here we are talking about balance. But the otter is a sweet little baby. Have you ever seen, there's a meme with two otters laying on their back and they're holding each other's hands and they're floating. It's just the most adorable thing I've ever seen. So there you go. You were kicked out of skating at 5 years old from skating backwards and not conforming. You know what? Hi, Valerie, we'll get you. That's what teachers used to do for left-handed writers. They used to slap them with a ruler and tell them they could only do it with the right hand. So you were trying to mirror things in your youth is what you were doing. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I picked up, and it's a sea lion.
Uh-huh.
Man of winter. Your worries and fears unreal. They are fueled by focusing on the negative, which gives power to that which you are afraid of. Stop worrying, let go of fear, and everything will be okay.
Wow. I love that because they're both water animals. Yeah. They're both water animals.
Sea lion.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Linnea. It's good to see you. Thank you, dear. Yeah. Otters are pure joy in the water element. You're a lefty. So my example was even all right. Well, I like Gertrude's too. I think that you must have water element animals that watch over you. But she also got the fox, and the fox is cunning and wily, but they're so darn cute. I love them.
Yeah, I love.
Uh-huh. Hi, Carolyn. It's good to see you. Okay. All right. Thank you, dear. Thank you, dear. We'll come up in here with Rossi. What messages do my guides want to give me for Lent? All right. right. So what I get, Rossi, the first one I got is be in your heart center. And I'm not sure if you're going to give something up for Lent, but they're saying to check in with your heart as the season comes. And as you, even though it isn't a flame, it looks like a flame here at the bottom. It's like, focus on the flame when you're working with the energies of Lent. You got up the pathway, the upward pathway. And it's interesting because the second one I have is a pathway as well. The second one, the first one says to go up the pathway. The second one says to go in moderation. So they're liking that you're going in the step-by-step method. Don't push yourself too hard for whatever you decide to do. If you decide to give something up for the season or not, whatever it is, it will come to you naturally. They want you to just take it easy when you're deciding how that is going to work for you. All right.
Yeah. So the first card I get is connection. There are two people there connecting. Yeah, I think then is like a time for like my family, Catholic, everybody to come together and then, and then self-care, just as you say, everything in moderation. Because like they say, when something is very painful or hurts, don't, like when we do physical exercise, when it's painful, don't do it because, and I think with this, because I have gone into that as a nun, mortification for Lent, moderation. Okay, moderation. And it does, when you go into that thing, it does help with awakening.
Absolutely. Step by step.
Yeah, concentrate on spiritual practices.
Yep. Your choice of example is wonderful because I remember as a younger person, I'm going to lose some weight, so I'm going to do exercises and I'll do 25 of them. And then the next day I can't do any because I hurt so much. I can't even try one, so it's starting slow and moving into it is the best in everything. Yeah, that's great. Thank you,
My
Trudi.
example was when I was a nun, I drove myself too hard.
Too hard.
Well, Buddha, that was what he did. He went to the extreme till he was completely emaciated, and then he realized, no, this is not the way.
And maybe because he went the extreme, he could really see that it wasn't the way. So there is knowledge in failure once again. Yeah. Definitely. Thank you, Rossi. All right, Valerie would love to have a thank you, dear, an animal card as well. And I pulled one already for you, and it's the blue whale. Oh my. Valerie, you have profound insight, influential ideas, discernment, harmony, unity, truth, compassion, and global communication. So this I believe is what makes for a successful business person. And this animal, or this actually a whale is a mammal. This animal works with you to make that so. It is very powerful animal. There you go.
I get the rose-breasted grosbeak.
Ooh, little birdie, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sadness is a part of life, but you don't have to endure it alone. You may need a little time to heal, but once you work your way through the emotions, you will be stronger than before. And that is like, when we work through our shadow. One thing that surprises me when I engaged in shadow work, although I didn't realize it at the time, I was just working on truth,
Right.
And I was just surprised at how strong it actually makes us. Because when we don't have to fear ourselves,
right?
When we work on the shadow, we don't have to fear ourselves, and then we don't have to fear what others sees in us. So for me,
it's a lot easier not to go into our own shadow and see everybody else's faults from our perspective But if we're not looking at ourselves, what are we learning? All we're
Yeah.
learning is that it's all external and it needs to be. Yeah, I agree with you, Trudi. Yeah, it does make us stronger. Absolutely. And again, not everybody wants to do it. And it's not like, it's kind of like the movie Schindler's List. It's such an awful movie with regard to what happened in the movie. The movie that was made was well done. There's nothing wrong with that. But you only want to watch it once. It isn't a movie you watch more than once.
Yeah.
It's just too depressing. So, yeah, if you can choose to do it the first time, you can have it under your belt, so to speak. All right, Jessica, how do you know you're a shaman? Well, there are 3 ways to become one. And if you're not spontaneously called to it, which can happen, then you are on your own personal quest. And the things that the shaman embodies must resonate with you. And I would say that that would be true of anything that we find ourselves doing that we love so much. And in the beginning, it talks about how to sort of work into that. And it's some of the things, if you feel you are a shaman or that you have the potentiality to be one, you want to create good health and take care of yourself, call in your soul family, try to work on calibrating higher in your vibration, balancing your interior and exterior world, and live authentically. And so, if you feel you are, then be that thing. We are that which we believe we are. And I think if it's calling to you, the first place to start is to look into what it is that shamans do and see if that resonates for you. So that's just my advice, but I'll pull a card. Go ahead, Trudi.
Yeah, I have been watching, and they say, the 3 things: communication with the spirit world, healing, and the third thing is animism. Believing in,
Right.
in the divine in everything.
Yes.
So I pick up 3 cards: being bound. So free yourself of the thinking that you can't be a shaman.
Right.
Like I had that thought that
Yeah.
that I couldn't be a shaman because it's so foreign and it looks so difficult, and then I did all that research and I found we could be one without even knowing about it.
Yep.
Taking back your power. Yeah, you really have to take back your power, because if you are not going to help people, like shaman, you really have to.
Yep.
Authenticity, that is the biggest marker
Oh,
of
yep. And
authentic.
that's part of it. Your authentic self. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I also get here the self. And you see, there you are. You're coming to the first tier of your spiritual life, and you're right in the middle there, see? And you still have lots of stairways to go to get to the more beautiful part of what you want. But you're on the path. You're already on it. And so honor that. If that's where you feel you want to begin, then begin and take the first step towards that aim. And I think that it will work out for you. I mean, there are a lot of people that are shamans, that are mediums, that are psychics, that are clairaudient, that are clairsentient. Maybe you start by taking a clairs class, how to be more clairaudient or clairsentient or whatever. That might be helpful, Jessica. But yeah, do it. Do it. If you're being called, then there's some reason for that.
Yeah,
Sarah K. Yeah,
go
go ahead.
out to the trees.
That's true. That's true. The trees, yeah. The trees will call you. Yeah. Oh, yes, Valerie. You were talking about sorrow a few people ago, and when Valerie, and she lost her brother, and she sort of was put in charge of the whole company when her brother died. So you hit the nail on the head on that one. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes. Okay, so we have Sarah K, guidance on using divination tools. A lot of it, I think, is personal preference. I have been told by some people that working with the pendulum is really good. They like it. They like doing it. I've heard from other people that the pendulum is one of the things that can be manipulated by bad spirits. I don't, or tricky spirits, I guess is the word. Something like that. You can sort of manipulate that thing to do what you want it to do. Tarot is great. And you see Trudi does tarot, but she also does oracle cards. A lot of it has to do with what you're called to. And there are lots of different cards you can choose. And so, but ultimately it's got to be you that makes that decision, of course. And so I'm going to pull a couple cards and let Trudi talk.
Well, go to psychic medium Jordan Coburn. He does a lot of pendulum and tarot. And what he tells us is give the pendulum a name. And they connect with the pendulum.
Okay.
And for him, he says it's complete. For him, he says, it's completely safe communication with the spirit world.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the problem where my mind can manipulate. So, you really have to free. So what Ra taught me is you ask the question, but you don't look at it. And then when you feel it moving, then you look at it. And so for me, the tarot I use these cards, is more accurate because I can manipulate it. Whereas, with pendulum, it's not accurate for me because if I want, yes, my mind is powerful enough that I could manipulate it.
You could manipulate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're reading it for yourself. Oh my God, you should never read it for yourself, I don't think. Right? No.
I use this for myself and my family.
Uh-huh.
So I call it my spirit team. I call it Rock Collective to help me pick the cards.
Yep.
And they have been very accurate.
Good. That's good. Yeah. So I pulled a message from the universe for you, Sarah Kay. The past is behind you now. Drop your fears and doubts, even though you may feel a little uncomfortable at the moment and slightly anxious over what's coming next. You are being urged to bring yourself back to the present moment. Your recent prayers have been heard and are currently being worked on. So I would ask my spirit team, am I meant to read cards or am I meant to use the pendulum? Could you give me a sign? I need a sign. And the best sign I've ever gotten was I walked into a metaphysical bookstore or even a bookstore. And the first thing that it either fell off the shelf or it was right there and I'd never seen it before. And it just gave me my answer. So that just be prepared. You'll get an answer maybe in a very strange way. So. Oh, you did, Teresa? Okay. Go ahead, Trudi.
The card, leadership. And a bear, a white bear. Leadership.
Okay.
Spirit guardian of winter, retreat. Leadership, retreat. And then the last one, gates of triumph. Success expands in your life. Yeah,
leadership. Well, and she said, and she just said she took a 6-week break from the pendulum because she felt it was deceiving. So yeah.
Yeah. So you just retreat from it. Success expands in your life. So so look for that.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Patricia, that's a great idea. If you ask in the third person, yes. But if you look up and away from it, how do you know which way it's moving? I don't know if I could do that, but I like all of the feedback that everybody's offering. All right, we still have one. Go ahead.
The other thing that Jordan say is you just move it. You ask the question and you move it. Because like I used to look at it and watch which direction. Well, that's when the mind can
brain
really
can move it. Yeah.
If you move and they see where it goes. And that's how he does it. He asks a question and he moves it. and then
Okay.
watch where it goes.
Excellent. All right. So we still have 7 readings to do here. We're almost at the top of the hour. So let's see what we can. Spirit animal for you, Patricia. And let's see. Ooh, you have the wild goose. And it makes sense because you're a dancer and you need to have teamwork and fidelity, perseverance, stamina, loyalty, protection. And look at that. She is a ballroom dancer and she needs all of those qualities to do her job. And that's what you have this help with the wild goose. Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. Which animal comes up?
Oh, okay. You look at
Golden retriever dog.
Ah.
Contentment comes from knowing that your finances are secure and your family's material needs are taken care of. It's important to honor tradition and have pride in your heritage and the accomplishments of your ancestors.
Wow. I like both of those. I like the goose for all the things that it does in your career life, and I like the dog because the dog is always ever faithful. So, isn't that nice? Thank you. All right. So, BMAP, would you try and find out what's going on with me now? Well, okay. We'll pull some cards, see if that will help you. Remember, there are different levels of knowing. And so I'm not sure that what do I want to say? I'm not sure that you may or may not agree. And that's true anyway. But sometimes the cards know about things that we ourselves don't even know or think about. So that's all I want to say. Okay. Anyway, you know yourself better than I know you. So there you go. So I pulled some sacred forest oracles, and the first one I got is Mystic Meadows. It looks like you need to seclude yourself in some kind of safety, some sanctuary that could be within yourself. It could be a spot in the woods. It could be whatever. You need to sort of hunker down and allow yourself just to be, not to do. The next thing is that it's going to require you some patience, just like if we're driving in fog, we have to be very, very careful because we can't see everything that's ahead. So it's asking you to be aware that there are some things that you may not be able to see right now. But they do want you to trust that you're sitting there in the crystal cave with the most beautiful amethyst, and you're working with a crystal ball, and they're saying, trust that whatever you need to know will come to you in divine timing, which is very important. It's not our time, it's divine time.
Yeah, so I get the first card, 9 of Spring. You have worked hard, and what you have created is impressive and worthy of protecting. Unknowing challenges may pop up, but don't worry, you will get through them just as you have in the past. Well, that says so. The second one is a good message, life experience. And that's what I get, that what you are going through is life, what life is giving you. Important changes are coming into your life that will require you to take action. Don't hesitate to move in new directions you know are right for you. And the last one is the moon. It's important to trust your intuition. Even if you are unsure of what is happening, all will be revealed soon. So worry is unnecessary. Resonate with your cards, trust, and divine timing.
Yep, definitely. Wow. Thank you. Just a shout out to Carolyn Booker, who's not feeling well today, and Book Bewitched, who also isn't feeling well. We're sending you lots of love, healing energy. Remember to take care of yourself, rest. It took me 3 weeks and I'm still not up to snuff completely. So just take care and be good to yourself and take the time you need to do that. But we're all behind you and hope you're feeling much better soon. So Carolyn wonders if there are medical herbs to smoke that would help your arthritis and I don't know how to pronounce this, scogens, I guess. She has it's an autoimmune disease that she has. And so I'm going to say this, and it's totally my first reaction. Smoking something isn't going to help it's not another thing you want to add to your issues. I don't think smoking something is a good idea, but that's just me. But I think that if you took some medicinal, let's say medicinal cannabis, or I don't know if you can get that in where you live or not, that has helped an awful lot of people that have pain. It has, one of my friend's mothers smokes pot, but I would want the chewables or something like that because I don't like all that smoke. That's just me. If you feel like you could endure that, that's your choice, of course. I'll pull a couple cards. Let's see what Trudi has to say.
Well, I am with you on that. Medical cannabis. I have friends, and my late husband used it for a long time.
Uh-huh.
And I am actually for those who need it. I
Yep.
really, from what I read, what I heard, or I believe it does help.
It does. Mm-hmm. But did he smoke or did he ingest it?
He smoke.
He did smoke it. Okay. Okay. Was he a smoker though?
He was.
He was. Okay.
But then he stopped.
Okay. I just, he's used to smoking.
Yeah.
That's all. I don't know if maybe you are too, Carolyn. I don't know, but that's just my personal feeling. But I think you definitely should get some cannabis for the pain. I really do think it helps a great deal, honestly, from what I've seen and what Trudi has seen. But this is a entertainment purposes only, of course. I have here that it would bring you harmony and balance, which is exactly what you need. And that don't be so stubborn. Go find out about it as soon as possible. And look at this. I got the Buddha, and that's for me to get the Buddha is like the best card in the deck because I'm a Buddhist. But it says positive thinking, understanding, and fulfilling a destiny. And so I'm going to say that you should. I don't know about the smoking part. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, I get a card security.
Uh-huh.
Letting go. Keep moving forward. From what I have been getting into, it is amazing what our mind can do to our body.
Yeah.
Security, it's like getting that feeling, the sense of security. So in our life, if it's difficult to feel secure, we can turn to our heavenly helpers, to infinity, the infinite creator, all that, the spiritual helpers to help us feel it. Letting go, Cleansing. If we are hanging on to some hurt, something.
Yep.
And keep moving, keep going forward.
Yeah.
Keep going forward. It's almost like a positive thing that, you don't let anything hold you back.
Hold you back from doing it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, keep moving forward.
It's funny. When I was a young person, I didn't smoke pot. I just never interested me because the smell smells skunky to me. And I don't smoke pot either. And I think I've had one edible in my lifetime, but I have heard so many good things. And in the chat, edibles help Teresa Levine more than pain pills do. They lower blood pressure. I mean, of course, your doctor would be able to tell you what the good qualities are, but I think it would help you, Carolyn. I do. Thank you, Trudy. All right. We have an animal guide for Christine. Actually, we have 3 more animal readings and then a question about animals. So there you go. Lots of animal lovers out here today. Ooh, I'm so hot. All right, Christine, I get the sea lion for you. It's grace under pressure, self-control, healthy competition, and dream recall. Ooh. You know, I absolutely love these sea lions. My daughter has taken pictures of them out in San Diego. They just sit out there on the rocks. When you go to San Diego, you can see them and you can take pictures. They're just so adorable. It's almost as though they're sea dogs. They have that kind of a dog energy to them. But anyway, that's what I get for you, dear.
I get miniature poodle dog.
Oh.
Your most satisfying and profitable career comes from following your passion, listening to your heart, and doing what brings you joy. Your life purpose is best fulfilled by allowing your talents and true self to shine forth out into the world. I love this message because it's so much with what Rice is always saying, do
Yep.
everything you do with passion and joy. And then allowing your talents and true self to shine forth out in the world, like the poodle
Beautiful.
winning
Beautiful. Uh-huh. Wow.
winning the show.
Yeah. Hi, Suki. Nice to see you. All right, we have Osmanthus who would like a animal reading as well. All right. Ooh, now you might not like this one, Osmanthus. It's not a cuddly one. You have the spider. Now, Itsy Bitsy Spider does lots of work to weave its web. It says here that creativity, feminine power, patience, persistence, emotional awareness, allure, networking, and attraction of wealth. So I guess I'd put up with this little guy if I had to, if I got all those good qualities coming my way. So this is, remember you, and Anja, I'm going to answer your question because it's coming up and you say, do our power animals change throughout our lifetimes? I truly think we have more than one or two. I think we have a lot of them. Some are more visible and more work with us more at certain points. Some of them sit in the back seat, but they come up when you need them. So that's the way I feel about that. All right.
I get reindeer.
Ooh, Merry Christmas.
Expect a sudden positive change in your life. You can now move forward and make great progress.
Uh-huh. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. All right. Okay. We've got Teresa Levine. She's our last one for today. Thank you all for being here with us today. Thank you, both moderators on both channels, for being with Trudi and I. We're going to be back next month with a new mystical topic. And make sure you join Gertrude on her channel on Thursday, where she is with Helen Irish Granny. And do you have anything before that, Gertrude? Nothing before that. Okay. And she does a Friday show every Friday. And so check that out. And I have a show at 3:00 today Pacific with Ginger Faye. And the dream show is on this evening. So thank you. You want to go ahead and go first?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I love owl.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is a time to pause and reflect, not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts, as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. You know, the
Wow.
owl is one of my favorite
Me too.
animals.
Me too. You want to know what's really funny? If you get a chance, go and put into Google owl legs. Because their body is so big and their feathers cover everything, you don't know that their legs are like this long.
Oh, really?
And they're adorable. They really are. They're adorable. Yo, the owl is one of my favorites. Yeah, very, very cool. Here again, you may not like this one, Teresa. The snake is one of your but the snake provides us with the wisdom of the earth and healing and the primal energy, because remember, the snake is coiled at the bottom of the kundalini that goes up our chakras. It brings us enlightenment. So it's coiled there, ready to go. So it isn't always a negative thing. We think it is sometimes, but it really isn't. It balances masculine and feminine energy. It talks about rebirth, harmony, and the kundalini, as I said. So you may not like snakes, but they work with you apparently on your path. And so you have to put up with them, I guess. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, everybody. Let's just pull one more card for the collective if we can before we leave, Trudi. Yeah.
I will be having Kelly Healer on my channel 20th.
Oh, good. Oh, she's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
12 noon Pacific.
Wonderful. She's in the chat. Thank you. Owls are the only bird that can fly silently. Oh, Sarah, I often wonder how they catch the mice. That must be how they do it. If you weren't here earlier this morning when I was talking about the solar storms and very, very gigantic ones, and they're sort of pouring down on us. If you're feeling a little bit angry today, if you're feeling agitated, it's part of the energy of this. Part is astrological. Part of it is the CMEs that are the solar storms. Take a break and be kind to yourself. Go take a nap, have a cup of tea, something like that. I think it will help you. For the collective, we have moonlight, enchantment. Magic is in the air. I think you can feel it. I know I can feel it. Through all of the energies that we're feeling, it's hard to feel it because it's overshadowed by some of those heavy negative energies. We are birthing ourselves into a butterfly spirit and transforming ourselves into higher dimensions. And if we just stay as the wise woman of the grove, in our grace, if we live in grace and we operate from the look of grace, then we will be able to get through whatever it is that we need to.
Yes, I have connecting with everyone. Breaking free of all these thoughts and ideas that we are different because we are all one.
Right.
And do it, with compassion.
Yep.
Because more and more I go into the law of oneness. And then you realize that we are all this big one. And what you do to
affects everything.
You do to yourself.
That's right. You're absolutely right. That's beautiful. Well, I had a lovely time with you again. As always, Trudi, thank you for being here with us today. Thank you, everybody. Oh, hi, Flower Beauty. We're just closing up shop here today. Much love to all of you in the chat. Much love from Mary Ann. She's just so cute, honestly. Hi, bye, Mary Ann. Thanks for helping Mama be grounded. Thanks, everybody. Much love. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.